Yo, what it do, guys, and welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video, we're going to go ahead and have a closer look at Minerva. This is actually Saryn's counterpart to the Warframe 1999 universe. So it's got a little bit of kind of funny, gimmicky kind of lore behind the scenes there. So if you want to go and learn more about her, keep playing throughout the storyline. But what a better way to go and celebrate a Saryn skin than to go and give you guys a Saryn build, and definitely quite a popular Saryn build at that. It is really, really fun and really efficient to go ahead and use. Super easy. So if you like running and gunning, but chain reacting and seeing lots of things, you shoot one thing and lots of other things blow up, stick around. This is the video for you. All right, now we are going to be using the Augment. I'll just put that on screen there so that you know that you can see a few things that we're going to go into. This is going to be Venom dose. Again, it's mostly for like weapon platforms, which is exactly what we're doing. But besides from that, let's go ahead and just jump straight into the build and tell you guys what you need to go and know and what I'm currently running on the builds. So to start things off, let's talk about the abilities on the left hand side there, the ability statistics. So we've got duration at 254% and we got strength at 229%. Now, listen to me closely when I say this. You can put them at whatever percentage you want to, but make sure you focus these two primarily. The reason for that is because a lot of running gunning builds, in this case here, we've got 3 of 4 abilities in this build that are all going to go ahead and basically buff my weapon damage, all right? So as it's buffing my weapon damage, it's also going to have a timer. So for example, if I go and have a little look at Toxic Lash here, it's going to go ahead and give me extra damage, but the duration is also going to last a lot longer. So you can see kind of why I've gone strength and why I've gone duration. Try and focus on those two primarily, because that's also going to help these 3 abilities in particular. So we'll cover those in a moment. Now, as for the other 2, range, you're not really going to need on this build per se. It's not going to hurt you if you don't hurt it, but ideally, please don't buff it. You don't really need it unless you want to go for more of a spore setup. You can do, but that's a bit slower to what we're doing, so we're not actually going to do that because we nuke quite a lot of enemies. Spores aren't going to really be juggled very well. And then finally, we got efficiency. Now, efficiency, please listen to what I'm saying here. Efficiency is always subject to each user. Please use whatever availability you have going for you. If you've only got a streamlined mod to go and put in your build, and that's all you've currently got, that's okay. All right, it's a step in the right process to go ahead and help you slowly build your build together, and you know, maybe go ahead and get your equilibriums or fleetings or whatever down the line. Right? If you've only got that for now, feel free to go ahead and use it. All right. Now, as for the mods, and I do a typical crossfire here, let's go and start off with strength. I've got things like intensify. I would go and use Umbra intensify in here, which is this mod right there. It's just a better version of this. This gives me 30%, this gives me 44, but unfortunately I don't quite have the capacity because I've got quite a few builds that are sharing a few different, whoops, go away. I've got quite a few builds that share a few different things. This is not supposed to pop up here like this, so let me go and close that and do this. It's a brand new update, all right? So anyways, I'm currently just using that for whatever, but if you can get Umbra Intensify in there, please go and do so. Now, Blind Rage is the biggest of the strength mods that I can go and get on my build. It's 99% ability strength whilst also hurting my efficiency. So let me go and talk about that real quickly. Now, I don't mind hurting my efficiency, especially on weapon platform builds. The reason for this is twofold. Number one, I have a lot of KPM. I'm going to kill a lot of enemies really quickly. Thus, as I kill them, the chance of them dropping health orbs and energy orbs are going to be in a bit more of an abundance in comparison to me taking a longer time to kill them and having to spam more abilities. Number two, because I'm not spamming abilities and I have really high timers, I can save a lot of energy due to the timer being larger. Does that make sense? You know, because I don't need to spam if I've got 114 seconds. It's going to be a while before I need to cast it again. So this then allows me to go ahead and go in towards the equilibrium mod. So I can hurt my efficiency. I take this again, kill lots of enemies, and then hopefully with those energy orbs or health orbs that drop, they can also kind of convert into one another and give you 10% of the opposite one of whichever one you're picking up. Now, do keep in mind, if you can find an Eximus unit, you're basically guaranteed to go and get yourself some good energy return as well, which is also nice because they also go and drop health orbs. Now from there, I want to go and store my energy to make sure that I've got a good amount. Now here's the thing, I wouldn't go and say that you typically need this mod, but I would also go and argue it's better to have this mod in here because my survival is going to go ahead and be hit within this, and this is like my major survival. You'll go and notice that I don't have like vitality or whatever. I've basically got this, and then this. So basically the way that this is going to go ahead and work is this is going to cost me 77 because my efficiency is lower. As this costs me 77, whenever I do go ahead and, so thankfully I've got way more energy so I can cast quite quite more of these. Whenever I do go and cast this ability, it's going to go ahead and give me two things. As you can see, it sheds her skin like a snake, and then that also has a higher threat priority on it, so enemies will go ahead and shoot the shedded part, then it explodes at the end. But it also goes ahead and gives me movement speeds, which allows me to go ahead and get around the map nice and quick. But because it costs, if you notice it, it's got like no animation to it. Just look how quick it is to go and shed that skin. It doesn't slow you down, it doesn't interrupt you, it doesn't stun you. It basically allows you to go ahead and basically proc this for free really quickly. Brave Respite, basically, if we go and read this, it says squad converts 150% of energy spent to shields. So if we hurt our efficiency, yeah, then this costs more to cast, and if this costs more to cast, then this is now going to actually give you more shields in return, because it's 150% of whatever you just spent as energy. So this could only cost 50, but now it costs 77. So I take 77 divided by 2, adds that division on top of this, because it's just easier to go and do it. So I'm going to get like a good over 100 and something odd shields, and then whenever I go and cast this ability, I'm getting 100 odd shield back. So this is going to be a bit of a shield gating kind of way. Not everyone's going to be used to this, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to take a lot of your awareness and good positioning, okay? But if you can get in the habit of doing it, it's really good for someone like Saryn. To pair with that, we're going to have one other quality of life. We've got Prime Sure-Footed. This just allows me to go ahead and run and gun through the tile set without being knocked back or knocked down. Good quality of life. If you do not have this, you do not need it. It's not the end of the world. Not an awful lot of things are always going to knock you down, especially if you're killing them like we will. So my suggestion in here, we're going to put in things like Power Drift, which gives you extra strength, and it also gives you a 30% chance to resist a knockdown as well. So that's a good substitute for something like that in here. If you don't have this right now, just go and pop that in there, because it's going to synergize pretty well with what you're doing. Down here we got the rolling guard, and again, this is on dodge on a roll. You become invulnerable for 3 seconds to remove all status effects. This is more so if I get procced with anything, so if I'm taking dots, heats, toxins, slashes, whatever, so electric, sometimes I just want to kind of get them off me, and then I'll reposition or something else like that. Or maybe I didn't quite have the energy for this. There's no reason why I shouldn't, because this is a very energy efficient build, but just in case I need to go and reposition or something else like that, it's a good backup. All right, not entirely needed, but there's not many other replacements if you're going to go for this, and this is your main survival, so it's entirely up to you. You could do things like fast deflection, which is in a bit of a better state nowadays, which is actually pretty good, but yeah, I don't know, it's up to you. Ideally you want to do fast deflection of vigilante vigor, but that's a whole different kind of words for a different day. The last mod that I haven't covered, so we got narrow-minded in here, lots of ability duration, hurts range, but again, we don't need the range. And then finally we got the Venom dose, which as you could go and see, it gives us 100% corrosive damage to their attacks for 40 seconds. That's gonna be me and allies. We don't care about giving it to allies, we care about giving it to basically to me and my weapon platform, in this case Sobek. All right, now in terms of Arcanes, it's entirely up to you as to what you want to go and run. Again, Energize works really well just in terms of my efficiency. I will have lots of energy here. Don't hate it until you try it, but if you do feel like you've tried it long enough and you go, do you know what, I don't really need this, drop it, and your interchangeables will be things like Arcane Rage, for example, which on a headshot there's a 50% chance for 180% damage to primary weapons. What we are mostly doing here is a Sobek, so that can go ahead and slot over that. That's completely fine. This one down here is basically ability strength. This allows me, it's mostly whenever I'm doing like survival missions or endurance missions, because I can kill a lot quite efficiently. This is going to give me more strength, which is great. So this is only going to, this is only going to go ahead and buff things like Venom dose, buff things like Venom dose, things like Raw, things like Toxic Lash, which is also just really good as well. All right, so this is going to give me a bigger and greater return, add in an extra 60% strength, so I'm actually 289% strength. All right, now in terms of we'll come towards the Archon Shards in a second. In terms of abilities and how the kit itself works, I'm going to go and show you how this goes on right now. The passive is you can't quite see it. I don't know if I can just move my camera up here really quickly. The passive is status effects inflicted on enemies last 25% longer. It's not something that we really need to focus on, because again, you'll see enemies die pretty quickly here, but since we are also focusing on toxin, this is pretty good to go and get that extra duration. Now, Spores is not an ability we'll be using on here. As spoken about earlier, we're going to be using its Augment. If you did want to consider using Spores here, you could do, but please keep in mind, you're pretty much nuking majority of things, and Spores want to not really be nuked. It's kind of counterintuitive. The idea is that you want to juggle spores. You want them to slowly tick and build up damage and then spread and so forth. This build that we're using right now is way too quick. It's kind of counterintuitive to actually using spores, but hey, it's up to you, right? Now, up next we got Molt. I've already explained basically what Molt was inside the build there, but again, just keep in mind you're going to be using this for shield gating and movement speed. All right, both of those are going to be absolutely core to what you're needing inside this kit. Now, Toxic Lash is the most core thing that you will be needing, because without this, none of this would really be happening. This is basically going to chain react with Sobek, and I'll get to that when I get towards Sobek's mod in a moment. But basically, the way that this ability works is that it's going to go ahead and be an extra damage instance, as in, like, if I shot an enemy with one bullet one time like this and I did 10 damage, that's fine. If I activate this ability and then go and shoot an enemy, I'll do 10 damage, and then I might go ahead and do, like, if it's base, I think it'd be like 3, and then do a 3 toxin proc damage on top of them as well. So basically it's got its own damage instance, and it kind of scales not only off of what your weapon is. Again, I'll have all of this text up on the screen most than likely. It scales off of what your weapon is, and then it's also going to end up scaling its toxin procs and its toxin damage of whatever kind of toxin mods that you end up having on the weapon. But that's a whole different other kind of ones. But anyways, regardless, extra damage, it's going to end up chain reacting though, so I'll show you how it's going to do that one. Then we finally got Raw, and Raw is mostly going to be used here for anything that is essentially dealing damage over time as well. And since Toxin is dealing damage over time, Raw is going to enhance that and actually make it hit even harder in the instances that it's ticking and dealing damage to enemies. So again, just works really, really good. Weapon platform with its augment, weapon platform. Okay, survival. So all of the kit is being used right now. Now we do have some Archon Shards real quick as well. Let's go ahead and just run down the Archon Shards. First things first, the first 2 Archon Shards I'm going to go and show you, we don't actually use for this build, but I can't really take them off because I'd have to juggle them back and forth. Archon Shards are kind of shared across all configs, unlike maybe something like Subsumes. You can kind of pick and choose some areas to go and put them in. But basically these 2 here increase max stacks of corrosive status by 2. Corrosive basically gets to 10 stacks, and this will add 2, so this will be 12 stacks, and this will add 2, so it'll be 14 stacks. And basically 14 stacks, it'll fully armor strip enemies, which is really cool. But again, it's not really for this build. This is more for a spore build that I use in my config, but if you ever want that in the future, let me know, all right? Anyways, you can replace these if you want to. Ideally, anything, again, that is going to be like ability strength, ability duration, or any form of like weapon damage is going to be the more shards that you're going for. Now, this one down here, I've got Toxin status effects, still 30% more damage, again because we're doing a lot of toxin procs. This one over here is also, whenever I go and shoot and I deal toxin status, I'll also go and get some health back. It's actually not a bad little one, and you don't need to run many of these. You could just chuck it in there and get a little bit of passive healing. Maybe something did go ahead and sneak past your shield gate and then hit your health a little bit. Now what you're going to do is just carry on running the gun and shoot a couple of people, spread some toxin, and you got full health again. So this is also pretty good. And then finally, and my biggest quality of life is maximum energy is filled on spawn by 30%. This really allows me to cast my abilities. The moment I spawn in, I cast my abilities and I get running the gun in. I don't need to kill enemies and be like, oh god, is there an energy orb somewhere? I need to go ahead and, nope, I can use my abilities. I can now just start wiping tile sets. I start accumulating all of their energy, and I just rinse and repeat. Does that make sense? It's a really good quality of life, especially in running gun builds. Please don't sleep on a shard like this. It just allows you to get in, get the job done, get out, right? Right, let's go and talk about Sobek really quickly as well. So up here we got the oh no, sorry, that's a general build. There we go. Up here we got the Sobek build. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Now the main gimmick of the Sobek build is going to be the acid shells as well, right? Acid shells, enemies explode on death, dealing 450 corrosive damage, which is 45% of enemy max health in a 15-meter radius. So enemies explode on death, dealing corrosive damage. Remember that. So all you need to go remember. Okay, now the rest of it is basically just going to be quite standardized as to what I'm doing. So I'm going to be running some multi-shot because I could go ahead and scale my multi-shot up there. If you don't have this, just use whatever multi-shot you've got. I'm going to be using criticals over here as well, critical chance, critical damage. Again, if you don't want to run them, spice it up however you want to. Over here I do use a ribbon. Now if you don't have a ribbon, you'll be like, oh god, it's a ribbon build. It's not. Just use the damage mods. Okay, so if you want to, you can go and use prime point blank. If you look there, it's 176% damage. This is 165. It's just that I happen to get lucky, and I also got a critical damage roll on top of it, so I figured 2 birds 1 stone. I'll chuck it in there. All right, it's not the best at this position anyway, so you're not missing out if you don't run a ribbon. And then finally down here, I do have the combination of Toxin, and then Electric over there as well, which will then go ahead and give me the full kind of stats that you can go and see over here, 14,000, Corrosive and Heat kind of combination, all good to go. Now my Sobek rolled heat. So if I go ahead and show you here, if I took all of this off, my Sobek rolled heat. My advice, if you want to get more out of this build, roll Sobek, Kuva Sobek, give it toxin, not heat, okay? Because every single one of these Kuva weapons and other weapons and so forth have progenitors. And as you can see here, my progenitor was a heat one, which was Procea, and I ended up getting a 60% roll. Well, I got myself to a 60% roll. So I kept heat, but now I feel like I should have just gone toxin. But anyways, with the new update, you can go and flex and change things a little bit easier now, which is nice. So basically the gimmick is Acid Shells meets Saryn's Toxic Lash. Let's go ahead and talk about and show you guys the build and show you what's actually happening here. So first things first, if I go and walk up to this enemy right now, I'm not going to shoot this enemy. See how, first of all, notice how it's just this. Okay, it's just this. I'm going to keep shooting, and when I kill the enemy, you see the damage? Damage hits those other enemies, right? Now, if I just go ahead and do it one more time, I just want you to go and see that. Now, this is where it gets interesting. What's going to happen here is Acid Shells can proc, so when it goes off, it can proc Toxic Lash, in which creates an AoE toxin proc to nearby enemies because it was an AoE of Acid Shells. Then if the toxin from Toxic Lash kills an enemy, it then can proc Acid Shells, which then repeats back into Acid Shells proccing toxin, which then procs the Toxic Lash, which then procs Acid Shells. See this chain? Right, let's go and show you what that actually looks like. If I just do one ability, I'm gonna go and shoot here. Now these level 225, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Do you see that? And they've all got toxin procs on them, right? If I go and shoot this one, you see 2 stacks of toxin procs. Shoot this one, 5 stacks of toxin procs. Now, let me actually do the build itself, right? So that was just me like messing about. I'm going to go ahead and go straight into my Matter Sling Strength. I'm going to go and hold my 1 down. She's yapping. I'm going to go hold my 1 down so I can go ahead and get my Venom dose up there, as you can go and see. I'm going to go ahead and press my 3, so I got my Toxic Lash increase up there. I'm going to go and press my 4, so I got my Rhino's Roar sorted. So as long as I got those 3 up there and I can see it, we're all good. The only things I want to go and pay attention to is maybe Molt Augmented, where I'm scaling strength, and things like Galvanized Hell. Let's now go ahead and just walk up and shoot an enemy. That's the build. All right, that's literally the entire gimmick of what is going on there. All right, so hopefully you guys can understand and you see it bit by bit as to how it's working. One more time, Acid Shells is proccing Toxic. If you apply Toxic Lash, Acid Shells is when it's Acid Shells, when it's detonating, is applying toxin, and then toxin, if the enemy dies to the toxin, is then also creating a new Acid Shells proc, because essentially it generated the toxin from you hitting Sobek, if that makes sense, which then thus creates a chain towards and just keeps looping essentially. So as long as enemies are dying, you're good. Hence why Raw, hence why the shards that I'm using for the extra damage as well. Want them to die. Now the other things I'm using in here is, I'll just show you, I'm just using Matter. I'm using it for its sling strength. Basically, if I sling it to the ground a couple of times, I get 40% ability strength. That looks as follows, in case you're wondering how to do that. Switch out to your Warframe. Cloak first. Cloak first, dash a couple times in towards the grounds, switch back, and as you can go and see, 40% extra ability strength. So whenever I cast my next abilities now, I've got an extra 40% strength. All right, so I use Matter for mostly that. Also, if I do happen to die, and I go down, I can use Void Strike to go and get myself back up with my Operator. Now, as for the companion is entirely up to you, what you want to go and run. I have to go over towards here and actually show my YouTube Saryn one right now. I'm using the Rigger right now, and the reason why I'm using this is because I'm using it as a primer, Arc Coil, Manifold Bonds. Then I can go and protect myself with extra Shield Gating of Guardian, and then I can go and use things like Synth Deconstruct, where if my companion does any damage, even if it did 1 damage to an enemy, whenever I go and kill that enemy, there's a 25% chance that they'll drop a Health Orb. Remember Equilibrium in my builds? Yeah, lovely stuff, right? And then I just go ahead and pair that with the Arc Coil setup. It doesn't need anything else because I'm only making it use Arc Coil. So as you can see, elements, lots of elements. It basically becomes a primer for me. And that's basically what I go and use. You can use whatever companion you want to. I'll go and put some gameplay up on the screen here. And I hope this video hasn't been too long. I'm trying to shorten my videos a little bit more right now, so it should be looking good. But as you guys see, bada bing, bada boom, we are running, we are gunning. Make sure your Venom dose is applied. Make sure your Toxic Lash is applied. Make sure your Roar is applied. Look for the closest enemy, that absolute poor soul. Shoot him and just watch any other enemy in the vicinity who is close by just get deleted. It is a very heavy chain reaction, easy to kill, easy to clear rooms type build. Okay, now you can go and use your Ability as well to go and get that extra movement speed, which is also really, really nice. This allows you to kind of just move a little bit faster through the tile sets, which is even better because now we're killing and moving even quicker. But there's not much else going to say than that. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very good for clearing trash mobs, so just normal, like, average kind of enemies. It's very good for killing Eximus units as well. In terms of acolytes, it's not bad for killing acolytes. It won't typically always one-shot them. It will normally take like a couple of shots. So if you want to go and focus on the acolyte, it is what it is. And then as for other enemies, maybe like more specific enemies, maybe it might be like a Juggernaut or other things like that, it's not as good on them because obviously particular weak points are not as exposed as much. But Sentience is still pretty good on. Majority of things is pretty good on. It's a pretty powerful build, I'm not gonna lie to you. So you can easily go ahead and just jump in, run and gun, kill everything and get out. Right, I'm gonna go bring you guys back here. That is gonna be it from me today. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed the skin and hopefully you enjoyed this build as well. It's been a lot of fun to go ahead and just run and gun with it. It's definitely more of a go-to. If I'm going to play Saryn, I'm probably going to play this. So I wanted to go and share that on with other people as well and make it a little bit more known that this is a very fun run and gun build. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really do appreciate it. A friendly reminder that if you did enjoy it and you like it, all right, like the video, please share the video with a friend as well if you think there's someone else who would enjoy this kind of build. And as always, if you are new to the channel, subscribe, come join us more often. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll catch you guys again in the next video. Take it easy, everyone. Thank you.